Carley McCord alongside Matt Moscona here from After Further Review for 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge. Pregame LSU versus Arkansas here in Tiger Stadium tonight. Matt, huge loss last weekend against Alabama on the road in Tuscaloosa. What do you think we're going to see from the Tigers coming off of such a big loss?
Yeah, I think the emotion is probably the biggest aspect. It's something we've talked about all week. You realize Arkansas 7-1 against the spread in the last 8 games against LSU. Typically, LSU is a favored team because they're more talented than Arkansas, but Arkansas always manages to keep it close. So LSU, with a big loss, still mathematically alive in the SEC West, although Bama's taking care of business today against Mississippi State. How motivated is LSU tonight? I really think that's the storyline because LSU is the better team tonight.
Leonard Fournette, we didn't see a huge day from him last weekend. I mean, very, very small, actually. Could put a lot of pressure on his Heisman chances. What do you think we see from him tonight, and how much do you think that it hindered his Heisman chances?
Well, at the beginning of last week, Vegas had Derrick Henry as the betting favorite. By the end of the week, Fournette was back as the betting favorite. That tells you that smart money came in on Leonard Fournette, picking it up in the final 3 weeks. Heisman is always won in November, so if Leonard has a big final 3 games and he'll have an opportunity against lesser rush defenses, then I think he'll be right there in the mix. But a big part of that, Carley, is LSU winning games. So if Leonard gets his and LSU wins these final 3 games, he'll be there in New York, and I think he'll still win it.
Arkansas has the biggest offensive line in college football, and I think you said second biggest in football.
It's the biggest in football.
The biggest in football, which is incredible here in Tiger Stadium tonight. How do you think LSU's defense is going to respond to that?
Well, the way that LSU's defensive front was built has never been built on size under John Chavis. So LSU is going to be smaller on the defensive line than almost anybody they play. So when you look at guys like Lewis Neal or Tashawn Bauer or Arden Key, or on the inside a guy like Davin Gottschall, LSU's not going to be bigger than almost anybody they play. They're going to win with technique and with speed. So it's no different tonight. Arkansas is a big challenge, physically and literally, or literally and figuratively. But there's just a lot made of it. But LSU's going to be smaller than everybody they play on the defensive front.
How much of a passing game do you think we see from Brandon Harris tonight?
Same as we see every single week. I mean, LSU's going to do what they do. If they didn't change last week against Alabama, they're not going to change against anybody. They're going to try to establish the run. I think we see Harris settle in somewhere upper teens, lower 20s pass attempts. And if it gets higher than that, it's probably because LSU's behind and they're trying to play catch up. So I think you probably see Harris settle in somewhere in the 18 to 23 attempts tonight. Probably try to hit some deep balls off of play action.
How much pressure do you think Les Miles has going into this game and for the rest of the season as a whole?
It's an interesting question, and for Les, I think in a certain segment of the fan base, that pressure is always going to exist, but there's still a lot of opportunities for this team. I mean, they can go 10-1, they can play in a New Year's 6 bowl game. Now, if they lose here tonight and go back-to-back losses and the wheels come off here in November as the schedule toughens up, then I think you have some very real questions coming off a 5-loss season a year ago and the expectations that this team had just a week ago.
Prediction?
I like LSU tonight. It's hard to pick against them in a night game in Tiger Stadium, but I think Arkansas keeps it close. Brandon Allen's been playing great this year, but I think you see something like a 34-28 type game, a lot of points.
He's Matt Moscona. I'm Carley McCord, live from Tiger Stadium. Pregame LSU versus Arkansas for 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.